Hi, I'm Claude from Wilderness Skills. Welcome to my channel. This time I'm going to talk about this water filter from Renovo. The Renovo Trio water filter filters up to 264 gallons of water. The size is 7.1 inches in length and about 1.4 inches in diameter. The weight is a mere 3.5 ounces. The pore size is down to 0.05 microns. Let's look a little bit more in detail here on the filter. The filter here comes in three parts. First we have the pre-filter. It's this little disc here. And there's 4 discs with the filter system when you buy it. When you buy the Renovo Trio water filter, there's 4 of these pre-filters included. And it's rated at 5 microns. And if you need something to compare with that, well, a normal coffee filter is rated to an average of 50 to 100 microns. The pre-filter here takes care of some of the larger sediments in the water. Then we come to the main filter here. That's a hollow filter membrane, and that is rated down to 0.05 microns. So that is really tiny pores in this filter here. And it removes 99.99% of all bacteria like Salmonella, E. coli and cholera. And the same goes with the protozoa like Giardia, Cryptosporidium. Also heavy metals like lead, mercury and cadmium. And a lot of the chemicals like oil, chlorine and pesticides. To remove this filter, you take this rubber coating off here on the top, and you can see there's like 2 slots here. Then you turn the filter, pull them apart. And then from the bottom you press up. So here you have your hollow filter membrane. And then lastly up here on the top you have the activated carbon filter, the 3rd stage. And that removes some of the bad tastes and odors of the water. You can use the Renovo Trio water filter in a variety of ways. You can use it as an inline filter where you connect it to your drinking system. What you need to be aware of is that there is no quick connector here in the bottom. So you actually need to take off the drinking valve from your drinking system and put the hose over the small nozzle down here. I can just demonstrate that really quickly with one of these drinking straws here. So it would look like this. And this is actually the next way that you can use the filter by drinking directly from the source, either with this straw here, this is not included, or if you don't use the straw, you have to put your face quite close to the water. And let me just demonstrate in this small Tanaha behind me. So when I look into the water here, it's still standing. I can see some really small frogs and tadpoles and other small organisms swim around in it. And it's quite dark, and that is likely because of the red rocks around here. But I totally trust the Renovo Trio filter to drink from. And there is no bad odor or anything when I drink the water here. And that is of course because of the activated carbon filter inside here. So no problems drinking water from this small Tanaha. The next way of using the filter is by connecting the bottom of the filter. It has a 28mm thread here, and that fits to most of the normal drinking bottles like this one, or half liters, or even the Coke bottles. So you just screw it on here, take the cap off, and then you're able to drink. And the last way is using the filter here as a gravity filter. So you take the bladder from your drinking system, put that up in a tree, connect the filter here to the hose, and let it hang as far down as possible. And then gravity will pull the water through the filter and let it drip into a bottle or whatever container you have to collect the purified water. As I said, the pore size is 0.05 microns, so that is really small. So of course the filter can get clogged. So there is a couple of ways that you can clean out the filter. You can either back flush it, like just blowing here in the mouthpiece. That will push the water backwards and clean out the filter. Or if that's not so good, you can just disassemble the filter, clean everything out, and then reassemble it again and use it. Remember to be aware of the small rubber O-rings down here in the bottom, and also on the main filter, that you don't damage those. I've been using this filter a long time now, and it has never disappointed me. Especially if I'm at a place like this, where there's only these small water holes or Tanahas, and it's quite hot. That's also why you have these hard shades from me. The sun is almost directly above me, and it is quite hot here, as you can see. It is 110. But now that we're touching the pros and cons, let's start out with all the cons. And I think the biggest con is that you cannot connect this water filter to one of the most normal drinking system. Could be a platypus, camelback, or a source tactical gear. You need to take off the drinking valve and then connect this one here. And it doesn't always stay on the hose, so I think that's one of the major problems for me. The way that I solved that problem is that I took the quick connector from one of my other filters and put that on the end of the Renovo, like this. So now I can connect it directly to a drinking system. Almost no matter what system it is, it will fit perfectly. The next con is that I miss the drinking straw. As you could see, I needed to go quite close to the water when I was using this one here. I would like they included like a small drinking straw like this, or that you bring one yourself, or it could even be a longer straw or a longer hose, so you don't need to get that close to the water. That would help a lot. And the last thing that you need to take into consideration is that the active carbon in here will start to degrade as soon as you take this out of your bag. And over a span of about a year, it will degrade down to not being worth anything. Luckily, you can change the filters in this one, and that's some of the pros. And let's talk a little bit more about the pros. It's really small, lightweight, and handy. You can just have it in your pocket, or if you have it connected to your system, you can use it right away. It's just a matter of taking the cap off here and then drinking. And the water flows really good in this filter here. I really like this way that it flows. You don't need that much power or energy to suck out the water through this filter here. It's reliable. It has never failed me, and I have used this on water sources much worse than this behind me here. It gives good tasting water because of the activated carbon, so that's really nice. And all the filters are replaceable to a reasonable price. The main hollow fiber filter here costs about $12, and the activated carbon filter costs about $10, so it's pretty cheap. And then the last thing is, of course, it filters out 264 gallons of water, and that's a lot. I know it could be a problem to remember, hey, did I just filter out like 230 or 240? But it's a lot. And I doubt that you will drink 264 gallon or more in a year before you need to replace the filter. What I normally do is when I replace the carbon filter, I also replace the hollow filter membrane, just to be sure. So I have no problems in recommending this filter to anyone, no matter if you're just using it for hiking, just put it in your backpack, or for emergency purposes. This filter will filter out almost anything that you can encounter. If I'm going to give it a grading on a scale from 0 to 10, where 10 is the best looking at price, well, I've been able to find it online to about $33, and I think that's a really fair price. And as I said before, the main filter costs $12 to replace, and the activated carbon costs $10 to replace. So it is quite cheap, so I'll give it a solid 9. Looking at the quality, I'll also give it a solid 9. I dropped this, but it still works perfectly, no problems here. I read that some people have problems here with the 28mm thread. When they screw it on some of the bottles, they get some micro cracks in the threading or in the end down here. I haven't had these problems. It could be a problem with the first batch of the filters here. I haven't had a problem at all, and I used it on a lot of bottles. So a solid 9 here. Looking at the usability, I have to give it an 8. And that is mainly because of the lack of an adapter to all the different drinking systems. That is what brings the grading down here mainly. So no problems in recommending this filter from Renovo, the Trio. Really good and reliable filter, which is really small and handy. Remember, if you want to see my coming videos, to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.